Ryan Wilson, CBS Sports, talking about if he would draft Caleb Downs, safety from Ohio State, at 6 if he was available to the Browns.
I take him. And I've been talking about this for the last few weeks now that we're sort of full in draft mode here. He reminds me a lot of Troy Polamalu. And I say that with the qualification that I know he is not Troy Polamalu. And then I followed up by saying if you get 60% of Troy Polamalu, he's worth a top 10 pick. He is special. The thing is, he's not going to look like Kyle Hamilton or Derwin James getting off the bus. He's probably going to be 5'11". I think Troy was 5'10" and change when he came out. Ed Reed, was under 6 feet, and he ran 4.57. Caleb is probably going to test off the charts, and if you just watch him play, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't need to see him run around in shorts and t-shirt to figure out he's a good player. And honestly, Ken, that you bring it up, if Arvell and Caleb are on the board together, it's a long conversation. Typically, you want edge rushers, off-ball linebackers, and then work your way back into the secondary. But I think Caleb has a chance to be that special.
Scott, they need so much on offense. Again, Caleb Downs, I'm sure he will be a really good pro. Man, I don't know. Can you go defense at 6 if you're the Browns? I would almost try to trade back and get more picks at that point if he's there.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. It would be a surprise. I hate to rule it out because, there is truth to taking the best player available. And this roster is going to look different in 2 or 3 years. And you might say, hey, Caleb Downs is the best player in the draft or top 3 players in the draft. How do we let him go for a average left tackle, right, if you're the Browns? So I understand taking the best player. It doesn't fit with what the Browns need the most. Although if you're going to make an argument for what this defense needs, it's probably the second safety. I mean, Ronnie Hickman's going to be a restricted free agent. I think you can, he's been fine. Can you upgrade? Yeah, that's the spot you could upgrade. Is Caleb Downs. I think it's the one spot you could really upgrade on this defense. So there's an argument to be made there. I like the idea of trading back and then at 10 or 12, if Downs is there, take him there. Now, maybe he won't be, and it's a moot point then. But it just hits a little wrong at 6, especially at safety, because safety's not one of those top positions. And I think if you're a team, you got to be careful about reaching for a guy at a position that you don't think is one of the top 4 or 5 most important. And safety's not. And that's why it'd be tough to talk yourself into Downs. But, I get the arguments, but I think I would pass at 6.
Yeah, and the other thing is you need so much on the offensive side of the ball. And they've come out and admitted as much that, they need almost an entire line. They need a wide receiver. You always need a quarterback.
Yeah, that's part of it. I think that's where you have to be careful, right? You have to be careful is, hey, this offseason, it can only be about offense. And I get that's where the needs are, but you have to look a little big picture. And they're going to have to replace guys on defense over the next 3, 5, 7 or 8 years that Downs could be here. But I think when you put all of it together, he doesn't make a lot of sense for the Browns at number 6. That's like my final answer there. But, could you talk me into him at 10 or 12? And maybe that's silly. It's only 4 or 6 spots, but I do think there's a difference when you talk position and value and then weigh in the team's immediate needs into that as well.